for a really refreshing whiskey cocktail, you've got to try this one right here. Let me show you how to make a ginger and rhubarb lemon spritz. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, this week I'm making a ginger and rhubarb lemon spritz. This is a really nice, really light cocktail that's great for days like summer because it's a bit sweet, it's a little bit tart, it's a little bit spicy, and it's just a very enjoyable little drink to sip on a nice hot day. I got the inspiration for this cocktail from the bartenders at the Bar 1661 cocktail bar here in Dublin. They made a cocktail with this whiskey here, and I'll explain that in a moment. But Dave Mulligan, the kind of proprietor, the owner, the head bartender there, he was playing around with this and using different ingredients and said, you know what, because this is a nice kind of spicy, fruity, light whiskey, he's going to make something that's kind of spicy and kind of fruity, and he used rhubarb bitters, a nice ginger ale, and some lemon juice to kind of amplify some of the flavors in the whiskey without hiding it. Now, what is this whiskey? This is the new single pot still whiskey from the Boann Distillery. If you want to see a review of this whiskey, myself and my wife Rose did a review. I'll put a link to that up there. There'll be a link down below in the comments as well. But this here is a very nice kind of single pot still Irish whiskey. So if you're not familiar, single pot still style of whiskey, it's unique to Ireland. It's kind of spicy, it's kind of sweet, and it has this nice kind of oily, thick character that comes through with a lot of flavor, especially in cocktails. Comes in at 47% ABV, so it's a nice bit of weight, and it was also aged in bourbon casks before being finished in Marsala wine casks for a bit of extra fruitiness, a bit of extra kind of round, almost like citrusy notes, so it pairs really well in this cocktail. But that's enough talking about the cocktail. It's time we make it, and I'm going to be making it in a mixing glass before I pour it into a glass. Now, if you want, you can just build it in a glass yourself, but because I'm using a kind of a fragile glass for mine, I don't want to be stirring that in the glass in case I just crack the edge, but I'm going to build it in a mixing glass. So I'm going to pop a nice rock of ice in there to get all our ingredients nice and cool down. So starting off with our whiskey, we're going to go in. Yeah, it's caramelly, it's a little bit spicy, a little bit fruity as well. So we're gonna go in with 45 ml of this whiskey into our mixing glass, just like that. That's 1.5 ounces if you're using other kind of traditional classic measurements. Then we're gonna go in with 15 ml or half an ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Just like that. It's kind of similar if you think of it, if you squint, it's a little bit like a whiskey sour where you go in with, you know, almost 2 parts whiskey, 1 part lemon juice. But because we're going to be using a little bit of kind of semi-sweet, so not really sweet, ginger ale at the end, it's going to have a bit of sugar content to it. So we don't want to overpower with the lemon here. So only 15 ml, I think, anymore, and it's a bit overpowering. Next up, it's our rhubarb bitters from the Fee Brothers. Now, these are really nice. Actually, I was surprised by how much kind of rhubarby flavor comes through. Very, very nice, and it pairs really well here. So I'm going to go in with 2 dashes of our rhubarb bitters into there, and then we're just going to stir it down for about 20 seconds, just get everything kind of mixed in and everything kind of cold. But like I said, if you wanted, you could build this in a glass yourself. Okay, I think that should be nicely mixed and nicely chilled now. So we're going to go ready to strain it out into our nice glass. So we're going to pop, first off, a nice another rock of ice into there before we strain out our cocktail. Just on top of it, just plain and simple, just into here, because we're not fully done with this cocktail just yet, because it is still strong. It doesn't have that sugary kind of note to balance it out, so it's not like super sweet yet. So I'm going to go in with this here. This is the Fever Tree ginger ale. Now, if you want, you can use any ginger ale you like, but what I like about this one is it's nice, it's kind of semi-spicy, but it's not super sweet, so it's not going to be like sugary and overpowering the rest of the cocktail. It's not going to be like dominating and making it into just like a ginger ale with some whiskey in it. It has a nice bit of flavor and just helps to lengthen the cocktail out. Just pour in like that, not all the way to the top, just to give it a nice kind of bit of a spritz, nice bit of effervescence, just give it a bit of length to it. And then for a garnish, just going to go in a little lemon wedge just in there, just like that. And that right there is how I make a ginger and rhubarb lemon whiskey spritz. Now, real quick, before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews, like the review of that whiskey from Boann every Wednesday, and I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskeys every Friday. So if you want to see those, make sure you hit subscribe. But right now, let's taste this cocktail. That's really nice because it's actually really refreshing, but it's also a little bit tart because you got that lemon juice, because you got those slightly tart kind of rhubarb bitters, and you got the natural kind of spicy character coming through from that whiskey. It's just really nice. It's tart, but then the little bit of ginger ale kind of lengthens it out a bit. It doesn't make it super sugary, doesn't make it super spicy, just makes it nicely balanced. It gives you a little bit of balance, because otherwise it would be really kind of overly tart. The little bit of effervescence means as you bring it up to your mouth, you taste it, you kind of smell it, you get to know the cocktail there, and it just gives it a nice kind of flavor. On that big rock of ice, this is gonna kind of stay chilled and stay cool for a long time. It's gonna be a nice little sipper of a cocktail, but it's so tasty, you're probably not gonna sip it. You might go through a few of these in a night. So I'm definitely gonna keep on enjoying this. Like I said, if you wanna see more cocktail recipes, make sure you hit subscribe. But right now, I'm gonna keep on enjoying it, and I'll see you next time. Sláinte.